What do you see as key as far as matchups?
Well, I do know the Duke Blue Devils, and we're going to be pulling for them because they're an ACC team. I think Duke's going to be ready. I think in the second half, UNLV jumped right in our jock, and we didn't respond the way I wish we could have. I think Duke will have more experience than we had. I think they'll be able to handle it a little bit better. Bobby Hurley's going to be very crucial running the offense, and I think Bobby can do that. I know he's been a little sick, but this is a big moment for Bobby, and I'm sure he'll respond. They got the big guys. They got Henderson. They got Bricky. I think they can definitely offset UNLV's pressure. It could be a great game. UNLV is very, very well coached. They got a lot of discipline. They run the ball. They play great defense. It should be a heck of a game.
Bobby, you hit on a point there that I'd like to get you to elaborate on. A lot of people look at UNLV and they think the running Rebels, harem-scarum. I don't think he gets nearly the credit maybe that he should, particularly for the defense that he plays.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of, in our league, Jimmy Valvano. With all the controversy Jimmy's been going through, he doesn't get credit for the coaching. And with all the NCAA problems Jerry Tarkanian has, he does not get credit for the coaching job he does. But I think that'll all change here shortly.
Ron, Quinn, what about the comments of Bobby Cremins?
Quinn, what do you think?
Well, I happen to agree with Duke. I think Duke is a very good basketball team. I think they're well coached, but I have said all along about Tarkanian that he doesn't get credit. I mean, Jerry Tarkanian is an excellent coach, and what he's been able to do is he's gotten these kids to play hard. He's got great athletes with good athletic ability, but it doesn't mean anything if they don't play hard, and that's what he can get them to do. Now, Mike Krzyzewski, I think everybody will agree, is probably one of the top 2 or 3 college coaches in the game. Mike has a great demeanor. I've known Mike for now 15 years, and what he's able to do is take a lot of the stuff that he picked up as working for Coach Knight and implement it in a fashion that makes these guys feel that they can play better than they play. So, and it's all about motivation in college because you have young men here, and some of them don't know how good they are. Both of these coaches are very good at getting the most out of their players.
And Brad Sham, speaking of motivation, you can hear the chants in the background for McNichols Arena, which is beginning to fill up. The bands were just a few moments away from this national championship of 1990.
You know, the coaches always hold their convention in conjunction with the Final Four. So a Final Four city is always crawling with college basketball coaches. That group is populous, second only to the number of media that comes to a Final Four, and Ron Franklin's going to talk to a couple of them about what they think about tonight's matchup. But first, let's pause for these messages. Probably 200 or 300 basketball coaches in Denver this week, this last several days, in conjunction with the Final Four. Literally thousands, about 1,500 media, as a matter of fact, accredited to cover this tournament. Ron Franklin has gotten all carried away, I think, by those of us in our end of it, but some of them actually know what they're talking about, and I know you talked to a couple of those guys.
Brad, that's for sure. You know, when you talk about that many hundred of media folks that are here to cover this event, no telling how many thousands of words have come out of the Mile High City this week. Writers and broadcasters from every corner of the United States. We thought it might be interesting to talk with a couple of the writers particularly and see how they view this championship game between Duke and UNLV.
Tommy Bonk of the Los Angeles Times. How do you see this game this evening?
Well, Ron, I think I'm going to have to go with the favorite. I'll have to go with Las Vegas, and the reason being that they've been winners off the court this year, and I think it's about time they win in this court, too.
What about the matchups in this one? Duke, a great defensive team, but do they have enough to stop also a great defensive team, but a racehorse bunch as far as offense is concerned?
Well, you know, I'm so smart. I didn't think they'd match up with Arkansas either. I didn't see there's any reason that they're in any way that their man-to-man would be able to match up with Arkansas, but they managed to do it. So I've seen them play Connecticut, and I've seen them play Arkansas, 2 of the best pressure defenses around. Now they're getting a third, and I just don't see them getting any easier for them.
Do you think the fact that Mike, now 3rd time is the charm, 4 times in the last 5 years for them to come to the Final Four, do you think that kind of incentive is enough to push Duke over the top?
I love to hear these guys say that they don't feel any extra pressure. It's not on their mind, because you know they're lying. You know they think about it all the time. The interesting thing about this is that both coaches have never won here before, and it's been brought up before. Tarkanian hasn't won the Final Four either. So at least somebody's going to break through and finally win it.
So your pick is?
I'll take the running Rebels.
Oh, that was Tommy Bonk of the Los Angeles Times on tonight's game. Now let's visit with a fine young writer from the Lone Star State.
Ivan Mazel of the Dallas Morning News. How do you see this one tonight?
It's going to be interesting, Ron. Both coaches have talked about how similar their defenses are, and then it gets to the point of, which athletes are going to do their jobs better. Duke's a little bigger. Vegas, it's quicker and a little bit more athletic. And generally, when you think of man-to-man defense, you think of quicker and better athletes. So that leads me to think Vegas has an edge.
Everybody points the finger at Mike. Not really points the finger, but they continue to remind him that he's been here a lot of times, but he's never won it. On the other hand, Tark's never won it, though.
No, and this is Tark's first Monday night game. At least Mike's had one other chance in Dallas. I think, it took Dean Smith 7 tries to get one, so I don't think it reflects on Mike at all, and I don't think it reflects on Tark at all. It's a tough thing, and getting here, I think, is the thing to put on your mantelpiece. Winning it is just a little something extra.
Who's Ivan Mazel going to pick tonight?
I picked Duke Friday, and luckily I'm gonna stick with them.
Ivan Mazel of the Dallas Morning News. So Brad Sham, as far as those two guys are concerned, one for the Runnin' Rebels, and the other picks the Blue Devils out Duke.
That doesn't help much. Those are two of the best, most well-respected sports writers in the country, and we don't know anything more about who's going to win than before we talk to them. Let's pause for these messages. Dusk is settling in over the Rocky Mountains. The streetlights are on in Denver, and somewhere in McNichols Arena is a basketball getting ready to be tossed into the air. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the NCAA CBS Radio Network.
The Quad Cities Major League Sports Station, WOC Davenport.
I'm Brad Sham at the Broadcast Center in Denver, and we are getting close to tip-off Duke and UNLV for the national championship. We mentioned that there are an awful lot of coaches from around the country whose teams have played both of these teams or one of these teams who are here in Denver this week. And, of course, there are also a lot of coaches who almost got here, coaches whose teams did extremely well in the tournament, made it to the regional round, and then just got cut off at the pass. One of those, the Texas Longhorns, who were beaten in the Midwest Regional Final in Dallas by the Arkansas Razorbacks. Texas coach Tom Penders talked to Ron Franklin about his view of tonight's matchup.
Well, continuing on our pregame show here, just moments away from the national championship. This is the 1990 Final Four. Tom Penders, whose Texas Ball Club had an outstanding run this year and made it to the Final Eight. Tom, first of all, congratulations on a super run this year.
Well, thank you, Ron. It's always a pleasure to do well in the tournament and go further than people think you can go. And our team this year was very special. We had some great players that felt they had a lot to prove, and we got the opportunity to play in the tournament, and that's what made it all possible, that opportunity. With guys like Travis Mays and Lance Blanks and Joey Wright finally had an opportunity to show what they could do, and I was really pleased with what they did this year.
UNLV against the Duke Blue Devils for the national championship. What do you see here, Tom?
Well, on paper, it's a real mismatch, Ron. UNLV is so quick at every position. Their center, Larry Johnson, you call him a center, you can call him a point guard. It's so quick. But, it's a one-game season, and Mike Krzyzewski is one of the best coaches in the game, and I think that Mike will take this as a one-game challenge, and I think that Duke has a real chance, but they've got to play a real smart game, take advantage of what they do well, and try to negate Vegas' quickness and tenacity.
Would you pick a winner for it?
Well, I'm going to pick Duke because, first of all, I've always liked to pick an upset, and I've coached against Mike, and I've been in leagues with Mike when he coached at West Point. I think he's a great coach, and I think they're due. I think Jerry Tarkanian is a great coach. I think their team is an outstanding ball club. I'm going to pick an upset. I think Duke is going to win. It's going to be in the high 70s, low 80s, and I think late in the game, Duke's going to take over, make their free throws, and win.
Of course, earlier today, Tom Penders wrote a column in the Dallas Morning News, said he thought UNLV would win. His bases are covered. Let's pause for these messages. Finally, it's about time to stop the talking and start the playing. And not a moment too soon. As Spike Dykes, the fine head football coach at Texas Tech University, likes to say, both of these teams have got some doing to do, and they're fixing to do it. at McNichols Arena in Denver. We are taking you momentarily to Ron Franklin, Quinn Buckner, and Kaywood Ledford for the call of tonight's championship game. Now this.
Tonight from the Mile High City of Denver, Colorado, it's the 1990 Final Four championship game. The Duke Blue Devils of the Atlantic Coast Conference against the Running Rebels of UNLV. It's Jerry Tarkanian against Mike Krzyzewski. Both have been to the Final Four, but neither has won the big prize. That, of course, will change tonight. Live play-by-play action on the NCAA CBS Radio Network is sponsored by GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors, by Kodak Copiers, by Mitsubishi Electronics, by National Car Rental, the official car rental company of NCAA championships, by Oldsmobile, the official car for the NCAA championship, by Pizza Hut, an official NCAA corporate sponsor, by State Farm, by True Value Hardware Stores, and by U.S. Sprint. Everyone, Ron Franklin along with Kaywood Ledford and Quinn Buckner here at McNichols Arena in Denver for the championship game of this NCAA tournament for 1990. Here's how these two teams got to the title game. Duke crushed Richmond 81-46 in their first game of the sub-regional. Then a 76-72 win over St. John's, and they moved on to the regional tournament. They defeated UCLA 90-81 and then defeated UConn in that memorable overtime game 79-78 to capture the East Regional at a trip to the Final Four for the fourth time in 5 years. Then on Saturday, they gained the finals with a win over the Arkansas Razorbacks. For UNLV, 102-72, they walloped Arkansas Little Rock in their first game. Then UNLV defeated Ohio State 76-65. Then on to the regionals in a close one, a 2-point win over Ball State 69-67, and then a 30-point victory over a very strong Loyola Marymount team 131-101. On Saturday, they defeated Bobby Crimmins and the Ramblin' Rex from Georgia Tech to gain entrance in this championship game here tonight. For UNLV, they're 34-5 on the season. The Blue Devils 29-8. The opening tip-off is coming up, but right now, let's pause for these messages. Ron Franklin back at courtside. I want to bring in a young man who worked with us for the first time last year doing color analysis in the Final Four. Quinn Buckner played on that undefeated national championship team in Indiana back in the late 70s. Quinn, as far as matchups in this one tonight, I think Tom Finders hit the nail on the head when he said, on paper, this one looks like a mismatch. But realistically speaking, it shapes up as an awfully close ball game.
No, it really does, and I'll tell you why. But because both teams play good individual, but most importantly, they play good team defense, and that's what you've got to be able to do. Stacey Augmon, I think everybody knows, is an outstanding defensive player, but he can't play it by himself. Duke, as a rule, just has 5 guys that get out there and help out. And I think what will happen here is the defense is going to take over. The real key is who's Stacey Augmon going to play. Is he going to play Bricky or Henderson? Henderson gets off, then it makes it awful difficult for UNLV because he goes offensively as well as that's how the team goes. They'll follow him. So it's interesting to see whether or not Henderson gets off or whether they put him on Bricky.
Very quickly, it's also imperative that young Bobby Hurley, only a freshman who's been suffering from a virus, he has to play consistently because when he went out a couple of times on Saturday, Duke suffered offensively.
I think in this game, all of the spots have to be covered. But Bobby Hurley, you're absolutely right about. What I wonder about is when you have a problem like Bobby Hurley had, he had, stomach problems. One of the things happens, you dehydrate.
That's right.
So it zaps your strength. So now you have to wonder, with the pressure that UNLV will put on him, can he last 40 minutes? This is a game in which you must play 40 minutes of smart, hard basketball. He might be able to play smart, but I'm not sure how hard he'll be able to play if he's still feeling the effects of that virus.
Okay, Quinn, let's bring in our broadcast partner, the gentleman who will take us the distance. 37 years, the play-by-play man for the Kentucky Wildcats. This is his 15th Final Four. Now with the starting lineups, and to bring us the play-by-play, here is Kaywood Ledford.
Thank you, Ron Franklin. And Mike Krzyzewski sends out the Blue Devils of Duke, 29-8, with Robert Brickey opening it at one of the forwards, 6'5", 205-pound senior, averages just under 12 points, 11.9. Christian Leitner at the other forward, 6'11", 225 sophomore, 16.3 in points. He averages 9.6 rebounds to lead Duke. It'll be Ala Abdelnaby at center, 6'10 senior, averaging 15 points a game. Phil Henderson at one of the guards, having a great tournament, 6'4 senior, averages 18.4. And the point guard, freshman Bobby Hurley, averaging 9 points a game. For the Running Rebels of UNLV, coached by Jerry Tarkanian, coming in at 34-5. Larry Johnson, 6'7 junior, averages 20.5 points a game. Also leads the Rebels in rebounding, 11.4. Stacey Augman. They call him the defensive specialist, but he's really a scoring machine since tournament play started. He's averaging 14.3 on the whole season, 6'8 junior. David Butler, 6'10 senior at center, averages 16 points a game. Anderson Hunt with a 15.5, and here's the opening tap. The other starter is Greg Anthony, averaging 11 points. Duke's got it. A long three by Henderson is no good. Rebounded by Augman, and UNLV moving it the other way. Anthony, their playmaker, brings it over the line. Henderson picks him up man-to-man. Anthony working out in backcourt alone. Moves down the left side, out the top of the key to Butler. Hunt takes it on the right wing, looks under, goes low to Johnson. Johnson pumps, and it's taken away from him by Leitner. Leitner gives it out of there to Hurley. Hurley runs it down over the timeline for Duke. Almost walks with the ball, gives up to Henderson. He almost let it get away. Picks it up, gives to Hurley on the left wing. Wants to go low, tries to get it in, but it's picked off by Vegas. Knocked down by Hunt and picked up by Johnson, and Anthony brings it over the line. Into the top of the key with a jumper, got it.
Well, I tell you what, Kaywood, that's the one thing Duke doesn't want to have happen, because when Anthony shot the ball well the last game, that's what got Vegas going.
It's 2-0. Nevada, Las Vegas, Hurley up over the 10-second line. They tried to throw the ball over Johnson to get it in low the last trip down. It didn't work. Leitner in backcourt with it for Duke. Circles off to the left on the dribble. Guarded by Butler. Gives it down the left side to Henderson. Henderson trying to go one-on-one. He puts up a jumper off balance, no good. And Abdelnaby reaches for it, but Butler beats him to it. And it's a 3-on-2 for Vegas. Here's a bounce in low to Johnson. He puts it in.
When you got 6'7", Stacey Augman coming down, he gives you a lot of options because he has long arms. But on the offensive end, Duke is rushing their shots, and they're not in position to try to get offensive rebounds.
4-0. UNLV on top. Hurley with it. Long range backcourt for Duke. Angles left, picks up his dribble, and he's guarded closely. Leitner comes out in the backcourt and takes the pass. He drives into the lane, moves it off out in the backcourt to Brickey. Brickey moves down the right side, reverses, comes into the lane, has his shot blocked out of bounds. It'll be Duke's ball from its own end of the court. So Duke running into all kinds of defensive pressure early.
And you're absolutely right. And I don't think Duke is really being aggressive right here. They're all a little tentative. They got to pick up their tempo.
Long pass in the backcourt to Hurley for Duke. Goes in on the high post. Abdelnaby turns. 12-footer, no good, but he's fouled on the shot. Johnson got him.
Well, Abdelnaby has that height advantage. He needs to get down on the block to try to take advantage of his height over Larry Johnson. But interestingly enough, what they've done defensively has Las Vegas is they put Anderson Hunt on Bobby Hurley. And I'm watching Bobby Hurley dribble the ball, and he doesn't look like he has a lot of strength to me, so I'm sure Hunt is going to put a lot of pressure on him.
Abdelnaby at the line for 2 shots. Nevada, Las Vegas leading it 4-0. Abdelnaby, a 78% shooter from the line. He is shooting right into the cheering section of Nevada, Las Vegas. Didn't bother him. He scrambles the ropes. Duke's first point, 4-1. Abdelnaby back at the line for 1.
The knock on Abdelnaby was at one point that he was a soft player. Every game I've seen him play in the tournament, he's played with great mental as well as physical tenacity.
4-2s, he gets them both, and down quickly comes the Rebels. Butler in the top of the key, but now they set it up. Left wing, he goes to Augman, looking low. They want to go inside, and Augman dribbles with it, passes in down on the baseline, and the shot is up, trickles in, and Johnson was fouled on the shot.
You got Brickey trying to guard Larry Johnson, and then they let Stacey Augman penetrate. And any kind of penetration breaks down your defense, and Augman was able to find Johnson in good position. And then Johnson made a great play to get it in because he got fouled and still had the strength to get it up.
Strength to put that one in, no question about it. He took a pretty good shot. Johnson on the line for the first free throw for Vegas, his team leading 6-2. Can give the Rebels their biggest lead of the ball game. He's in his crouch, goes up, pauses at the top, flips it up and in. 7-2, biggest lead for UNLV. Duke with the ball. Hurley. Net early by Hunt. Still dribbling off in the left wing to Bricky. Bricky goes on the high post to Abdul Nabi. Brings it to Abdul Nabi. Brings it outside to Hurley. Hurley feints a move inside. Doesn't go. Now bounces to Leitner. Double team. Gives to Abdul Nabi. Lays it in. Abdul Nabi gets Duke's first field goal. It's 7-4. They took their time. Worked it in well that time. Anthony works it down quickly for the Rebels. Brings it back out. High on the left side to Hunt. Top of the key to Butler. Right side to Anthony. Anthony dribbles into the top of the key and fires. It's short. Rebounded by Bricky for Duke. Gives it up to Hurley. Hurley, long pass on the left side to Leitner. Leitner looks under, nobody there. Now he whips it in to Bricky. Bricky back over the head, puts it in, and he's fouled.
Well, Bricky's one of the players that needs to have a big game. I mean big game, over 20 points. That time he took the ball on one side and just reversed real quickly, but Leitner, standing out the three-point line, made a great pass to get it underneath.
That's Augman's first foul, second on Vegas. At the line, Bricky trying to complete a three-point play the old-fashioned way. Made his basket, now stands in for the charity toss. Can't tie it. 7-6, Vegas leads it.
You know, I'm sure Duke is glad to have Bricky healthy. The last two times he's played in championship, he has not been healthy, but he's playing well now.
Missed the free throw, and Vegas moving it the other way. Anthony brings it up over the line. Hurley picks him up man-to-man. Anthony works off to the left side, top of the key to Johnson. Right wing, it goes to Hunt. Hunt has the ball slapped out of his hands, but rescued by Augman. Back to Hunt, drives down into the paint, reverses and brings it back out. Gives it off to Augman on the right side. He's at long range. He puts a move on, passes back out to Anthony. Anthony drives down in the paint, a six-footer, good.
Bad defense by Duke. Can't let people drive down the gut of the paint. They had played good defense initially, but all of a sudden they slacked off and Anthony's able to get in.
UNLV leads it 9-6. Duke with the ball. Hurley, long range, works to the right sideline, reverses, gives to Bricky, top of the key, looks low, drives with it himself, goes to the baseline, just lost control of his dribble and goes out of bounds and over to Nevada, Las Vegas. Second turnover for Duke.
He got a little help, and he didn't realize he was getting it. As he turned the corner, Stacey Augman, playing aggressively, just had a little arm on him and just nudged Bricky at the last minute, and that's how the ball bounced off Bricky's foot.
Moses Scurry checks in. First sub used by either team. Comes in for Johnson for UNLV. Anthony brings it down. In offensive court, moves down the right sideline. Whips it out in backcourt to Hunt. Hunt on the dribble to the left side. Sets up in the wing position. Still dribbling. Checks now in backcourt to Anthony. Hurley with him. Anthony wants to go one-on-one. Driving down into the paint. Flips it up. No good. Gets his own rebound. Falls away from the baseline. Misses another jumper. Rebounded by UNLV from outside. Hunt fakes the three. Moves in with a 10-footer. Got it.
I don't think there's any question about it. Las Vegas is much more aggressive on both ends of the court right now than Duke. Duke has got to get themselves in sync. This is a championship game. You got to win it. Nobody's going to give it to you.
11-6 equals Vegas's biggest lead. 5 points. Hurley with it for Duke. An offensive court. Leitner, top of the key, drives down in there, and he charges as he tried to pass off to Abdul El Nabi. I'll get it. Abdul Nabi. But he couldn't ever get the ball to him because he's called for a charge. And we've got a timeout. 15:24 remaining here in the first half of play. It is Nevada, Las Vegas 11, Duke 6, and let's pause for these messages.
Buckner, so far Duke looks a little out of sync, particularly on offense.
Well, I think one of the reasons they're out of sync is they might be trying to conserve the energy of Bobby Hurley because he's not trying to create anything. He's been very, very, very patient.
Abdel Nabi leaves for Duke during the timeout, and Brian Davis, a 6'6 sophomore, is checked in. And a double dribble is called as Duke went with full court pressure that time. And Vegas turns it over for the second time. Big play for the Blue Devils. They'll take it out of bounds.
Well, the problem is I'm sure Tarkanian doesn't want Moses Scurry dribbling the ball against Bobby Hurley. That's why the turnover occurred.
Into Bricky. Bricky drives to the basket, lays it in.
You know, if you're playing defense, again, the third time I said it, I see both teams break down in the middle of their defense.
11-8, and here's Hurley, slaps the ball away from Anthony, but he protected the ball well with his body, gets it back. Now here is a pickoff by Bricky, but he's overguarding. Tried to make the interception from Moses Scurry, and Bricky picks up his second foul. That's 3 against Duke.
Well, there was some good defense being played. I talked about Bobby Hurley not being aggressive. Mike Krzyzewski was just up asking if there was a 5-second call that needed to be called. It was pretty close, but the official didn't think it was warranted.
Larry Johnson checks back in for UNLV as Curry goes out. And we get Greg Kobach into the game for Duke. He is replacing Ricky. Johnson puts it in play for UNLV. Anthony down the right side to Butler. Out in backcourt to Johnson. Cross court. Down on the left side to Hunt. Hunt loops it in there to Butler. It's slapped down. Out loose ball out of bounds. It was off Butler. It'll go to Duke. 3 turnovers for Vegas.
Tried to lob it. Butler had a height advantage over Quebec, but what he didn't anticipate in Las Vegas was the weak side help, and the ball ended up going off Butler's hand.
Hurley brings it down on the dribble. Picked up early by Hunt. Up in the left corner. Henderson's open for a 3. No good. Doesn't go. Rebounded by Johnson for the running Rebels. Throws a long lead pass. Where it's picked up by Altman. He goes for the basket, lays it in. He's fouled by Hurley.
Well, the length of the court pass, you get a chance to take advantage of Stacey Augman's ability, but if Mike Krzyzewski jumped up because he thought that Bobby Hurley got there in time.
That's one of those tough calls either way. Augman gets his first field goal and steps to the stripe for the first time, where he's a 67% shooter. 13-8, UNLV leading.
The officials are not going to like this, but I got to be honest. We happen to have a replay. Bobby Hurley had to be there, but that official's got to make a quick call, so we got to give him a break.
Augman misses at the stripe, and Duke's got the rebound. Henderson with it, long range on the left side. Bounces in to Leitner. Leitner walks. He did. He shuffled those feet before he put a dribble down.
He did, and it was good defense that caused him to shuffle feet. Butler had him in good position.
4 turnovers. Abdelnaby wants to check back in, but he'll have to wait until there's a break in the action. Augman with it in backcourt for the Rebels. Into the top of the key to Anthony. Anthony goes down in there. Turnaround jumper, no good. By Johnson. Leitner comes off the board with it for Duke. Gives to Hurley. Hurley down the right side. Changes gears. Drives into the paint. Out to Leitner. He goes right down the lane. Deals it off in there to Henderson. He puts it in.
Well, particularly when you have a big fellow like Leitner going to the basket, you get some penetration and kickoff, and that time Henderson got it in.
13-10. UNLV leads it. Here is Hunt off the left wing. Good. 3.
That's truly a player that Jerry Tarkanian wanted to get hot, because that opens up the inside from Nevada, Las Vegas.
And that gives UNLV its biggest lead of the game. 16-10. Hurley with it in backcourt to the Blue Devils. Having trouble finding an open man. Henderson comes all the way out deep to take the pass. Now he's on the dribble. There's a floater down on the baseline to Leitner. He's open, but he fouled on his shot. It didn't go, and Butler got it.
Well, it was a tough pass, too, K-Wood, because all of a sudden the pass was thrown from the top of the key with a little bit of lob, and Butler just fell asleep. And then he tried to get it on the other side. The Fisher was on top of it.
Duke has that good size inside, Quinn, but when you're throwing to a 6'11 guy, over a 6'10 guy, you don't have much room for mistakes.
You really don't, and that's why I was saying that was a good pass, because if you do that, you've got to have the ball, if you will, apex, or his height got to be right over or the top of the 6'10 guy, so he doesn't have a chance to jump up and get it right away.
Thomas Hill has checked in for Duke, replacing Henderson. Leitner at the line, has not scored tonight. Shoots, misses. He's an 84% shooter, but he put a brick up that time.
Yeah, he did, and as I said, all 5 positions have to be covered in order for either team to have a chance. Leitner's got to start picking up some of the offense.
Leitner stands in for number 2. He has really been on a scoring tear since tournament play started. Hits this one, dead center with that one. And we've got a timeout, I believe. Nope. Just a substitute. Abdelnaby replacing Leitner in the Duke lineup. Anthony brings it down court for Nevada, Las Vegas. His team leading 16-11. Pulls up in backcourt, gives to Hunt. Breaking across the lane, but it's knocked down in there and intercepted by Davis. Davis runs down the left side, gives to Quebec. He fires for a 3, air ball, put back up, no good. Abdelnaby comes down with a rebound, and Augman is on him. That's his second. That is 4 against Vegas. The officials for this game tonight: Ed Hightower of Alton, Illinois, Tim Higgins of Ramsey, New Jersey, and Richie Ballesteros of San Francisco. Duke's ball from its own end of the court.
That time, the transition, Vegas didn't do a very good job of getting back, and it allowed Duke to get a chance to get offensive rebound.
Comes into Quebec. He's already dribbled, and Hurley had to come rescue him. Now he tries to pass it inside, and it's picked off by Johnson. Here's a run out, 2-on-1. Hunt got the break. Stuffed it. Anderson Hunt 6'1½", but he's way up there for a two-hand tomahawk. Biggest lead for Vegas, 18-11. Duke on the attack. They try to get it down to Del Nobby. They couldn't throw it over. Anderson's head slaps it down. Hunt running again. Puts it up, no good. But Hurley is holding him. A late whistle on that one. And that's Bobby Hurley's second.
Well, that time, Duke is starting to get into a little bit of Las Vegas tempo, but you talked about it earlier. It's tough to get that lob over the top. And what's happened is that Las Vegas is starting to front the big men from Duke, and Duke is trying to lob the pass. Larry Johnson's too quick of a jumper. I'll let it to Hunt, and Hunt got fouled.
Two shots for Hunt. 67% shooter on the line for two. First one's on its way. That is off. No good. Henderson reporting back into the lineup for Duke. They're going to give Bobby Hurley a rest.
Now, this will be an interesting point. We got 12:37 here on the clock with Vegas up 18-11. Taking Bobby Hurley out of the lineup, you don't have a very good ball handling team. It'd be interesting to see if Nevada Las Vegas starts to pick up full court to take advantage of Hurley being out of the game.
Hunt fires, connects, and it's 19-11. We get Bice into the game for Hunt for Nevada Las Vegas. Travis Bice, a three-point shooter, 6'4". Down on the line, Henderson now playing the point guard. He is guarded by Anthony. Oh, he throws a bad pass. It's picked off in there. Here goes Altman. Dumps it two hands.
Well, you see right away that's a turnover call again, because that's what Bobby Hurley does. He makes those entry passes. Phil Henderson has got to carry the load. He's the senior.
That's a 10-point lead, 21-11. And this thing could get in big trouble. An interception the other end by Augman. 2-on-1 break. Augman's got it. Behind the back pass, it's not a good one. Loose ball. Everybody going for it. Nice save by Johnson for Vegas. Here's Bice on the right wing. Can't get his shot. They go down low. Augman puts it up. No good. The fight for the rebound. And coming out of there with it is Hill.
Well, they had
Henderson, but Henderson has thrown the ball away twice.
He really has, because he's not accustomed to playing that. He doesn't see defense quite like these guys play from Las Vegas.
Doesn't handle the ball quite that well under pressure out there either, and he's having trouble right now. Hangs on, gives it to Hill in the left corner. Rice after him. Hill puts down a dribble, comes into the paint, but we had a whistle, and I think a foul's going to come before he gets there.
Well, that's a good play by Hill, because he's in the corner, and he just thinks that Travis Bice, who comes off the bench, really, that can't guard him. So he took it to the basket. Anytime you get in trouble offensively, one of the best things you can do is just take the ball to the basket, try to draw a foul.
Bice picks up the foul. Well, we've got a timeout right now with 11:35 to go in the first half. Nevada, Las Vegas 21, Duke 11. We'll be back in just a moment.
Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the NCAA CBS Radio Network.
The Quad Cities Major League Sports Station, WOC Davenport.
It's a 10-3 run by UNLV.
All right, inbounds pass comes to Leitner. They've got Hurley back into the game. So is Bricky. Here's a pass to Abdelnabi, but he can't quite reach it. Loose ball. Doubled up by Anthony. Long length of the court pass. The official hits the deck, but Hunt can't pull it down. It'll be Duke's ball.
Well, the official was part of the game. He did hit him, and the ball went out. Anderson had a shot at it, but the official is considered part of the game, and the ball went out. It's Duke's ball.
So Coach Krzyzewski has put Bricky back in there with two fouls, and Hurley is back in. He's 10 points down. No point saving anybody at this stage.
Well, the two turnovers came so quick, he had to get Hurley back in the game.
Leitner to Hurley to Leitner. Leitner goes up to 15 feet. Not even close. Abdelnabi puts it back up. Good.
Abdelnabi was able to get in a good little nudge, and they had to come up with that offensive rebound.
21-13, and here is the ball is stripped away by Leitner. Took it away from Augman. Gives to Hurley. Hurley running it down, still moving. Dishes it off to Bricky. Puts it in. It won't count because the foul is going to be called on, I believe it's Augman. He's on the floor. If it is, it'll be his third. No, it's on, I think Scurry was in there. It is Scurry. It is first.
So that was one of the first times, K. Wood, that Bobby Hurley pushed the ball down aggressively, and that's how they get the foul. Because once he gets in the paint, you've got to come help out. He gets there so quickly, and Moses Scurry just to get there in time.
And Moses Scurry leaves the lineup. Vegas is back in there with the 5 starters. Hurley comes into Bricky. Bricky gives it to Hurley in the corner. He comes out, bluffs the shot, doesn't take it out in backcourt to Henderson. Henderson pumps, puts it up and in from 12 feet. And that is Phil Henderson's 4th point. It's 21-15. The lead at 6. Nevada, Las Vegas. Anthony for the Rebels. In backcourt, gives to Altman there with him. Off in the left wing to Hunt. Hunt fakes and drives. Baseline 8-footer in the air. Good.
See, that's a mismatch as far as Anderson Hunt is concerned. He thinks he can beat Bobby Hurley every time Hunt gets the ball.
23-15. Vegas leads it. Hurley with the ball at long range for Duke. Way out there. Hunt trying to put the heat on him. Left side he goes to Bricky. Bricky looking low. Now he puts down a dribble, goes to the basket, open, missed the layup. Made a great move and then blew the gimme. Out of bounds, touch last by Duke. UNLV gets possession.
Well, that time, K. Wood, Robert Bricky couldn't make up his mind whether he wanted to dunk the ball or not. So he got there and just at the last minute tried to throw it off the glass and it just went off.
About a half and half. Huh?
Yeah, half and half. That indecisiveness will get you in a lot of trouble.
All right. I haven't seen the Vegas cheerleaders came on the court, but I don't think anybody's called a timeout, and now Vegas says we will. All right. 10:08 remaining here in the first half of play. UNLV 23, Duke 15. Let's pause for these messages.
Financial assistance is available for student athletes who have exhausted their eligibility and who wish to complete their degrees. Funds for this and other beneficial activities are provided through the NCAA Foundation. A message from the NCAA.
Anthony driving it down the right side. Barry Young is in the lineup now for Augment for UNLV. He has the ball on the left side. Gives to Butler in backcourt. Butler guarded closely by Abdel-Nabi. Off to Anthony. Anthony puts up a 12-footer. Good.
I'm telling you, he's really playing with some confidence because he had a chance to go into traffic, handle the ball that time. A little bit like we were seeing with Kenny Anderson. Got the jumper down.
25-15 equals the biggest lead for Vegas. Cross-court pass to Bricky. Duke in its own end of the court, out to Hurley, long range. Off on the left side to Henderson. Henderson driving, puts up a 15-footer. It's short. Rebounded by Johnson for UNLV. Anthony on the run. Still moving. Right corner. Hunt pulls the trigger for 3. No good. Leitner comes off the board with it. Hands it to Hurley for Duke. Hurley coming in a hurry. Still moving. Gives it off to Bricky. Bricky looks for help. Gives it cross court to Henderson. He drives to the baseline. Fall away jumper. Beauty.
That time he got the defense coming at him because he's a 3-point threat and took it around Larry Johnson for the little jumper.
25-17. UNLV and the Rebels with the ball. Anthony, long range. Young comes out, takes it in backcourt. He drives down, puts up a little hook shot. Got it.
Oh, that was a tough shot. He got bumped to going up and still was able to get in. He's a scorer. He's basically a shooter. He comes in to try to get some easy hoops for Las Vegas.
27-17. The third 10-point lead for the Rebels. Duke with the ball. Henderson, long range to Hurley. Oh, bad pass as Hurley just threw it well behind Bricky and out of bounds. That is 10 turnovers already for Duke, a team that does not turn the ball over a great deal normally, feeling the heat from the pressure.
Yeah, and that's definitely the story. They got 10 turnovers. They average about 20. They only had 17 in their win against Arkansas. Clearly, they're having trouble handling the basketball, due mainly to Vegas' pressure.
Brian Davis has come in for Bricky for Duke. Anthony brings the ball over. Hunt out to take it. Left side. It goes to Young. And Davis reaching in on him. Commits the foul. First one on Davis. Number 6 against the Blue Devils. Each team now has committed 6 fouls. From here on, both teams will be in the bonus.
I'm looking at faces on Duke, and they look somewhat perplexed here. They haven't been able to get into the defensive sequence of things, and offensively they've thrown the ball away here now 10 times, so obviously they're not together there. They seem to just be confused.
All right, here is Anthony going one-on-one with Hurley. Still working on him, can't get away, so he bounces low, takes it, goes right back in low again to Johnson, back out to Anthony. Anthony drives, goes down to the baseline, can't get his shot away. Left corner, Young puts it up and in for 3.
And that's what he can do. Barry Young can stand out there and shoot threes as good as anybody that Las Vegas has.
30-17, biggest lead for UNLV. On top by 13. Duke way out at long range. Henderson with it right now. Down the left side it goes. Back out to Henderson. Top of the keys. Double team. Bounces to Davis on the left wing. Back out to Henderson. He throws it over to Hurley on the right wing. So Hurley dribbles it back out at long range.
Well, they're in that amoeba defense now where they keep running different people at the point of the ball.
It's a bad pass to him, and he couldn't save it. He slapped it back in bounds, but Duke comes up with it. And Hurley Brings it up over the midcourt line. Slows it down now. And they look at that zone. Right side. Back out to Hurley. He's going to try a three. Not even close. Leitner comes off with a deflected ball. Gives it up in there to Davis. Davis to Leitner. Puts it up. Misses it in close. Abdelnaby follows, and he is fouled. But Leitner missed an easy shot. He has not scored a field goal.
Leitner missed the easy shot. The one you talked about with Bobby Hurley was indecisive pass shot. When I'm watching Bobby Hurley, he's got his hands on his hip. He is exhausted. He's having a tough time because, as I said, when you're dehydrated, and he's coming out of the game, Mike Krzyzewski's seen that. When you're dehydrated, it takes you more than 48 hours really to get yourself back up to full strength, and that's what happened when Bobby Hurley got ill.
Bill McCaffrey, another freshman, takes Hurley's place. We get Cianovich into the game for UNLV. Each coach now has played 9 players. Abdelnaby on the line for 2.
You know, we talked about the altitude factor, so I'm sure that's part of it. But early, you want to make sure you keep the players from being nervous. Las Vegas, I thought, came out and played just their regular game. And as I was telling Ron Franklin, whomever can get into their regular pattern the fastest has the best chance to win.
Abdelnaby misses the first. Second one, no good. Rebounded by Johnson for UNLV. Gives off to Cianovich. He brings it up over the line. Now playing the point guard. Gives to Hunt, who joins him in backcourt. Right side, it goes to Young. Out deep it comes to Jones, who's in the game now. Hunt on the left wing. Dribbles it deeper into backcourt. Circles off to the right side. Still dribbling. Now drives. Goes for the basket. Tries a reverse layup. Is partially deflected. A loose ball. Davis has it. Rolls it out. Cianovich comes up with it. And here's Hunt out of the corner for 3. No good. Loose ball. And McCaffrey comes up with it for Duke.
Got another point in the game. Bobby Hurley's out. Now, last time they turned the ball, the first 2 times down the court, they turned it over to Duke.
Henderson had a lot of problems handling the ball, but he gives it to McCaffrey. Back to Henderson playing the point guard now. He's in there for a jumper. It's good.
Well, that's what he's got to do. He's got to catch it back off the swing of the zone and take his jump shot because he can't get it right away.
Kubik checks back in for Duke. Altman is coming in. Bice coming in for UNLV. Larry Johnson is the man at the strike. He'll draw a pair. Beatty's only free throw in this game has 5 points.
I expected Larry Johnson to come out and try to have a big game after struggling the way he did and fouling out in the last game. You know he's going to come ready to play, and he's proven that he's ready for that.
Johnson's first shot. Got it. Boy, he's really shot his free throws well here in the Final Four. Quinn, but Duke apparently must be concentrating inside because the Vegas scoring has really come from the guards.
Well, I said, when Anthony gets going, it makes it difficult to guard because he's a good ball handler and he can penetrate. And once he starts making shots, that's what frees up Larry Johnson and David Butler inside.
Larry Johnson drills another one, and it is 32-19. Equals the longest lead that UNLV has had. Duke with the ball. Henderson in backcourt, about to draw a trap out of the zone. Gets it to McCaffrey. Right side, it goes to Davis. Davis to McCaffrey, ball right through his hands, and Cianovich picks up the loose ball, runs it down at the other end. He's fouled as McCaffrey reached in and got it. McCaffrey just mishandled the ball, and a very alert Stacy Cianovich just grabbed it and raced for the other end, and McCaffrey had no choice but to foul him.
Well, McCaffrey took his eye off the ball because he caught it, and momentarily it just popped up, and Las Vegas was quick to the ball.
And Duke's going to call a timeout with 5 minutes, 53 seconds left in the first half.
Kaywood Ledford, UNLV, an 11-4 run in the last 5 minutes.
Cianovich at the line for 2. Excellent free throw shooter, 89% on the season. He can give Nevada, Las Vegas its biggest lead of the game by drilling one of the 2. Got the first one. It's out at 14, 33-19.
The thing that Duke really would need, and I don't know if they can really get it. See, Bobby Hurley needs to be able to penetrate the zone and find the shooters, but I've watched Duke go down court, and all of a sudden the Duke players, when Bobby Hurley was in the game, they stopped looking for him because they realized he's not very effective because he's ill.
34-19, biggest lead for UNLV. McCaffrey with the ball in backcourt for Duke. 5:44 to go. Here's a loose ball. Cianovich dives on it, and Henderson ties him up. On the alternating jump ball situation, Vegas has the ball, and Hurley is reporting back in for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, that's a turnover right there. And McCaffrey is he's nervous. But I tell you what, I'm watching a lot of Las Vegas, and it seems like the bigger the lead gets, the further out that defense is coming toward half court and much more aggressive.
And playing with a lot of confidence right now. And playing a lot of people right now.
Yeah, Tark is showing a lot of confidence in some people that normally doesn't play in the game.
Here's Augman. He's open, but decides against the three. Sianovich with it to Bice. And he dances. He shuffled his, just jumped with both feet to get squared up for his three and didn't put a dribble down. So it goes back to Duke. Ricky, who's in the game, gives it to Hurley. He puts one thumb in the air to call a play, looks at the zone, and here is a pass inside to Leitner. Back out to Bricky. That pass was almost picked off. Down on the baseline, driving with the ball as Kubek can't get through. Passes out to Henderson, misses from three, and coming off the board is Scurry for UNLV. Gives it Sianovich. Sianovich running. Challenged by Hurley. Picks up his dribble, bounces down low. Butler spinning jumper, no good. Battle for the rebound. Put back up by Scurry, no good. Scurry tries it again, no good. Loose ball, and Henderson's got it, but
he was in bounds.
Yeah, I thought they were going to call him on the line. He said, nope, you're all right. Hurley driving. As he tries to go in there, I think Bice reaches in, and Tark the Shark pounds his foot into the floor. He didn't have to go.
I tell you what he was mad about. He's looking at Moses Scurry, who's standing about 20 feet in front of us, and is mad because he didn't get back on defense, and that's how Duke was able to get themselves in a position to get these foul shots.
Abdelnaby and Davis checking in for Duke.
But Duke's having a tough time. They can't block out. What you really are seeing, K-Wood, is just that the height advantage in terms of the depth of Nevada, Las Vegas is starting to take advantage here early, because that's why Nevada is getting all these offensive rebounds.
Bobby Hurley, who hasn't scored, is at the stripe. 1-1. He's a 77% shooter on the year. Fires it. Got it. Duke, normally an excellent free throw shooting team, had not been. They were only 3 out of 7 until then. Now 4 out of 8, 80%. Hurley back at the line for the bonus shot. It's 34-20, Vegas leading. Hurley hits another. 34-21. Vegas leads, 4:44 to go. Driving the other way, put up, no good, put back up and in. I think Augman will get that one.
Stacey Augman was all over the rim on that one.
So it's 36-21. Here's a loose ball, but rescued by Duke and then slapped out of the hands of Davis. But Hurley comes up with it. Throws into Abdelnaby. He's got 2 people on him. He can't see any daylight. Now he dribbles out and puts in a jumper from 6 feet.
Good smart play. He was double team on the block, took a step out to the corner, and the defense relaxed, turned around, knocked down the jump shot.
36-23. Nevada, Las Vegas leading. And with the ball, Hunt with it in backcourt. Right side to Augman. Augman gives to Butler, just back of the keyhole. They go down low to Johnson. He turns, puts it up. It's good, and he was fouled. Leitner got it.
Well, as long as Christian Leitner plays behind Stacey Augman, and Augman is right under the basket, there's nothing Leitner can do but foul him. He's got to step in front, take away the pass coming from the top.
And Quinn, for the second time in this game, Johnson has made the basket after taking a pretty good foul, a pretty solid blow.
Well, it takes a real solid blow to stop somebody that big. K-Wood. That's a big man there.
They list him at 250 and might be cheating a little on the low side. Larry Johnson. He'll rock up, pause at the top of his stretch, and he is really hitting his free throws. 4 for 4. And it's 39-23, biggest lead of the game for Vegas. Hurley dribbling it down court. Gives it to Henderson, takes it back, throws to Leitner. Leitner's 8-footer good off the baseline. He was wide open, and that's his first field goal. 39-25. Here's a long pass put in at the other end by Augman. Great pass. He'd thrown it over his head.
Great pass. I did think he would get to it, but I didn't think he'd get to it that quickly.
He left it in the basket while he was in the air. 41-25. UNLV dominating this game so far with 3:32 left in the first half. Duke with the ball. Hurley throws a pass on the left side to Henderson, back out to Hurley. Hurley was double-teamed out of the zone. Hurley penetrates Leitner for 17, got it.
I tell you what he did. The first time I've seen Bobby Hurley give a ball fake against the zone makes everybody jump. That time he got Leitner open.
Anthony works at long range right side. He's picked up his dribble, gives to Augman, who's even behind him. Being guarded man-to-man by Davis. He drives by him, picked up on the switch, gives it into Butler. Good block by Abdelnaby. Out of bounds, touch loss by Duke. It'll be Nevada, Las Vegas in control from their own end of the court, and Bricky checks in for Duke. Abdelnaby's going to take a rest. Abdelnaby with 8 points, and Henderson with 8, leading Duke in scoring. Here's inbounds pass deflected by Davis, but back out of bounds, so the running Rebels will try it again. 3:03 left in the half.
But that's the kind of effort that Duke has got to get more of. They've got to come up with some turnovers to try to get this lead down under double digits going into half, or else Vegas is going to have a whole lot of confidence going into halftime.
The inbounds pass in the backcourt to Augman. Davis guarding him. Augman on the dribble. Doesn't go anywhere. Left side to Hunt. Here's Johnson. Fakes the three. Drives in. He's short with the shot, and he's called for the charge. That's his second foul.
Team defense usually is what causes that. That time, Larry Johnson just tried to do too much and drove in there. Robert Brickey had the position. That's the second foul on Larry Johnson. He's trying to do a little bit too much.
Scurry checks in. Butler's going to take a seat. I thought it'd be Johnson with his second foul, but Johnson stays in the game. 2:50 to play in the first half. 41-27. Nevada, Las Vegas. Hurley for Duke crosses the line. Clinch fist is the call. But he's still at very long range. Now dribbles over to the right sideline. Back and forth. Does a lot of dribbling, but doesn't go anywhere. Behind the back to Davis. Davis does penetrate in the top of the key. And he is held by Scurry reaching in. His second.
I wanted to comment on your point about Bobby Hurley. Bobby Hurley hadn't played against two quicker guards than he's going to play against with Nevada, Las Vegas. Both Hunt and Anthony defensively can guard him. So Bobby Hurley is not able to penetrate and then get his teammates open. And that's what's getting Duke in so much trouble.
He's giving him a lot of motion, Quinn. You know, a little fancy stepping, but you're right. He can't seem to go north and south.
Right. He can't get an angle on these kids because they're very good defensively.
Davis at the line for Duke, a 64% shooter, looking for his first point of the night. 1-1. 2:33 left in the first half as Davis puts up the shot. No good. A clunker pulled off the rim. And Vegas moving it the other way. Left side is Augman. Dribbles it out, top of the key, holds up, looks low, and he has his pass deflected. Leitner comes up with it, throws for Davis, drives for the basket, puts it up, no good. He is fouled by Anthony, but his shot just rolled off the rim. Anthony's first.
Anthony had been having great success coming behind, knocking the ball away from the Duke Blue Devils. That time he just couldn't get there in time. But that's one of the few athletic plays, if you will, one that's up and down or jumping, that Duke has won all night. And they've got to win more of those.
Brian Davis, who just missed at the free throw line, is right back at that position. This time I think he'll get a pair. Clock arrested with 2:17 to play in the first half. Nevada, Las Vegas with a big lead, 41-27 over Duke. Has been in control all the way. Davis for two shots. Finishes his dribble. Deep knee bend. Lets it fly. Perfect.
Now that's the way that Duke needs to try to get back in the game. On the foul line, again, I've said it before, but you've got to start taking the ball to the basket when you're having trouble shooting jump shots.
But Duke has hit only 6 of 11 so far, Quinn, and Duke normally an excellent free throw shooting team.
Well, they are, as you said, probably they're about 75% shooting free throw team.
Davis drills them both, and it's 41-29. A 12-point lead for Vegas. Vegas with the ball. Anthony in backcourt. Down the right side to Larry Johnson. Clears it out in backcourt to Scurry. To Anthony. Anthony weaves the ball. Gives to Augman. Augman looking inside. Still looking. Now dribbles. Gives it deep to Hunt. Hunt to Anthony on the left wing. Anthony driving. Comes down into the paint. Fires down on the line. Scurry open. A two-hand dunk. Moses Scurry was wide open and crams it with both hands. 43-29. Great pass from Anthony.
It was, and we talked about Bobby Hurley on the offensive end. On the defensive end, as I said, both Anthony and Hunt feel that they can just get by Bobby Hurley at any time, and that time they were able to penetrate.
Hurley circles off to the right side, picks up his dribble. Leitner comes out, takes it. There's the lob into Abdelnaby's open, lays it in. That's one of the few times that play has worked. Running is Hunt the other way, deals it off, and here's Scurry, puts it up, no good. Battle, Leitner's got it for Duke. Loses the ball. Here is Anthony wide open for the jump shot. Leitner fell down, and
he got helped a bit. He's actually got his foot taken out from under, and the official was paying so much attention to the ball, there was no way he could see it.
Mike Krzyzewski wanted a foul. It's 45-31. Nevada, Las Vegas. Here is Leitner. Jump shot baseline. No good. Abdelnaby pulls it down, puts it up. No good. And the battle for the rebound. Larry Johnson has picked up his third.
And obviously that's a big foul going here with 52 seconds in the half for him to get his third.
Kubek checking in for Duke, and now Thomas Hill is going in for the Blue Devils. We only have 52 seconds left.
Well, that turnover that we had down here when Leighton went down was a big one because they're looking at a potential fast break that can get the score down to 10. They end up down 14 because the ball just goes to Las Vegas.
A 4-point turnaround, no question. A possible 4-point turnaround. It was just a layup for Vegas because Duke had nobody back. At the line, Abdel Nabi, a 78% shooter, but he's only hit 2 out of 4 so far in this game. Hits this one. It was all over the rim, but it stays in. He gets the bonus.
Had a little bit of that shooter's touch on it, Haywood. I didn't have much of that at the foul line. I was a bricklayer.
45-32. The shot. Bouncing in. It did have the touch again. It dances on the rim, but it stays there. 45-33. When they count the same as the bottom of the netter.
As long as it goes in.
Anthony working at long range for Nevada, Las Vegas. Shot clock shows 35 seconds. So there's a little more in the first half of play than on the shot clock. But Nevada, Las Vegas right now, they're searching, but they're in no hurry.
No, they're not. They really want to try to run the clock down to 10 seconds on the shooting clock so they can try to get a basket out of this last 20 seconds.
They will penetrate, which Anthony did, but he came right out with it when he didn't see anything open. He comes out deep and takes it again. But they've got the middle open there. Here's Anthony going to put up a 3. It over the board and out of bounds with 11 seconds to go. Really 11.8. So Duke has plenty of time to come down and get a good shot. And Bobby Hurley wants to check in for the Blue Devils, replacing Hill.
Well, that can be a good defensive stop for Duke because they really had trouble staying with Nevada the entire first half, but they were able to stop it there, got a chance to go down and at least beat 10 so they can feel like they're at least in the game.
McCaffrey also has checked in for the Blue Devils, but it's Hurley that sweeps down court, looks at the zone, throws down on the baseline to McCaffrey as he tries to put it up. He is fouled, and the official ends up in the lap of a Las Vegas cheerleader. I'd say that's not a bad deal, but it was one of the boys, Quinn.
Yeah, Ed Hightower got himself a little close to the action. But again, that was Bobby Hurley pushing the ball up and forcing the defense to react to him, and he got McCaffrey open underneath.
Rifled the ball to him on the baseline. That was no doubt a set play all the way.
Well, we got an interesting thing going on right here. Larry Johnson is going back in the game, and he's got 3 fouls. So Tarkus is taking a chance here with 6 seconds here on the clock for the half.
Well, he's hoping if there's a miss to get the rebound, and imagine he's told him don't get down in there and get that 4th foul. At the line is McCaffrey. He hasn't shot a free throw prior to this one. It's in the air. Hits it.
Yeah, but I still think after the shot by McCaffrey, I think that's a big risk.
I do
putting back
too.
in there with 3 fouls here.
Especially with an 11-point lead. It was 12 until then. McCaffrey for number 2. On its way. Got it.
But we've seen stranger things. You know, we saw in the first half, you remember when Loyola Marymount, they leave Jeff Fryer and he plays the whole game. So maybe Tark think he has that kind of luck.
All right. And of course, here's Anthony over the line. 3 seconds, drives in, 10-footer, got it. And there's the horn. And the first half is history. And Nevada, Las Vegas. They haven't put it on the board yet, but it should be, according to my score, 47-35. I think they're waiting to check with the officials. I didn't even think it was close.
Well, we happen to have a replay, and it happens to show the shot was taken with a minute 9, but the officials didn't hear the clock because I was sitting here, and the only reason I knew that when the clock went off is I happened to look at the red light, but you couldn't hear the horn go off.
I didn't think that was close, and now they put it up. 47-35 is up there now. That is the halftime score. Nevada, Las Vegas leading Duke. Coming up at halftime, we'll have stats from the first half. A special guest. A look back at a memorable moment in NCAA tournament history, but right now, let's pause for these messages.
We're at halftime, 47-35. UNLV leading over Duke, and right now let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the NCAA CBS Radio Network.
The Quad Cities Major League Sports Station, WOC Davenport.
Buckner, I'd like to get you to come back in for a couple of seconds here. We talked on the pregame show about the importance of Bobby Hurley. And giving the youngster his due, he has been ill, and as you mentioned, because of the virus that he has had, a dehydration situation. I'm not even sure healthy if he could handle the guy that he is trying to handle tonight, but that to me is the greatest disadvantage that Duke is suffering right now.
Well, that is definitely the case, and a lot of Las Vegas is playing great defense, but offensively for Las Vegas, both Hunt and Anthony have gone right at Hurley, which is a smart thing to do, knowing that the guy has been ill, possibly dehydrated, make him work and get him out of the game. And when they were able to do that, then there were turnovers by the Blue Devils. So the Blue Devils had possessions that they didn't take advantage of, and that's why we have a 47-35 lead by Las Vegas.
Duke did a great job to come back, and in fact, they had a chance to cut it to a 10 or a 9-point ball game. But Vegas, with very little time left on the clock, came down and it took it right deep into the paint and got the shot away. And Mike Krzyzewski just spun and did a 360, looking at the ceiling, saying, boys, we can't do that.
Well, he was disappointed because, as you mentioned, Anthony takes the ball and he goes right in the paint, and you've got to get somebody to run at him to make Anthony throw the ball out, and he shoots a runner. Now, that's a tough shot, mind you, but you still don't want to allow him to get into position to take that kind of shot. And I think the other thing for Nevada, Las Vegas, and I've got to give them a lot of credit, their guards are playing well. And when they play well, it opens up the inside, and I think that's helped Larry Johnson get going a little bit. You've seen Stacey Augmon run the court. So the Vegas, as I said, got into their game early, and it just seems like Duke has just never been able to get on track, partially due to Vegas, mostly just due to Duke, and particularly Bobby Hurley.
Quinn, a 12-point lead at halftime, and quite frankly, Duke has not been able to come close to solving the problem so far. Does Tark have to be careful at halftime to get his team to maintain what they're doing, or do you think that won't be a problem since it's a national championship?
No, I think you do that anyway. You don't take any chances that there's an opportunity that your players will slack off. If I know Tark, he's in there chewing at their ear because there's some things that they should have done they did not do, and he wants to try to use that as some motivation to make sure that his kids come out and play hard at the beginning, particularly of the second half.
Kaywood Ledford, we're going to get you to run down the official scoring, and boy, the thing that catches my eye is 14 first-half turnovers against the Duke Blue Devils, so very, very uncharacteristic.
It is indeed, and Nevada, Las Vegas has three starters in double figures: Larry Johnson, Anderson Hunt, and Greg Anthony, all with 10 apiece. Stacey Augmon has 8. For Duke, among the starters, Ala Abdelnabi, the leading point getter in the game, with 12, but he's the only one in double figures. Phil Henderson has 8. Leitner 5, 4 for Bricky, and Hurley scored 2. Vegas got 9 points off the bench. Barry Young came in to get 5, Scurry 2, and Sianovich 2. 4 points for the Duke bench, 2 points for Brian Davis, and 2 for Bill McCaffrey. Once again, our score at halftime: Nevada, Las Vegas 47, Duke 35. We'll be back in just a moment.
WOC 14.
The National Collegiate Athletic Association hosts communications and CBS Radio. It is intended solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the description or account of this broadcast without the express written consent of the NCAA, host communications, and CBS Radio is prohibited. Well, the last NCAA championship final of the 80s epitomized the tournament's unpredictability in the decade. The two unlikely contenders, Michigan and Seton Hall, and their even more unlikely coaches, Steve Fisher and P.J. Carlesimo, had something to prove. It's now time for this edition of National Car Rental's Great Moments in NCAA Tournament History. In 1989, the NCAA championship final between Michigan and Seton Hall capped a decade of college hoops hysteria.
National's Great Moments with Ron Franklin, sponsored by National Car Rental, the official rental car for NCAA championships.
Section 17H, collision damage waiver. I accept, I don't accept.
Every time you rent a car from those other people, you have to answer a lot of questions.
I accept, I don't accept.
But when you rent from National Car Rental, you never have to answer those questions again. Because with the Emerald Isle, you don't have to stop at the counter, which makes our rental agreement sound like this. We feature GM cars like the Cadillac Seville. To reserve one, call 1-800-CAR-RENT. National is the official car rental company for the NCAA championships.
4 points. That is the margin of victory for NCAA basketball championships in the 80s. Who could have envisioned a better title matchup to end this decade than that which would take place between Michigan and Seton Hall?
71-71. 18 seconds to play. Michigan wants a timeout. What a game, Ron Franklin.
This game featured the quick release and three-point finesse of Michigan forward Glenn Rice.
Rice for a three.
That basket put the Wolverines up by 1 with just over a minute to play. After Sean Higgins converted 2 free throws, the Wolves led by 3, but not for long.
Green dribbles it down over the line to the left side. Morton comes out and takes it. He's going to put one up for 3. Got it!
In the overtime clutch, Michigan's Romeo Robinson took the stage. He was fouled with 3 seconds left. The Wolverines were down by 1, 78-79.
He has the 1-and-1. Robinson shoots. It's good. Well, Romeo Robinson is going to try to put his team into the lead. Robinson shoots. It's good.
The Michigan Wolverines claimed the first overtime NCAA title in 26 years. A climactic ending to an exciting decade in college basketball. I'm Ron Franklin. Well, the NCAA Final Four moves to Indianapolis in 1991. To receive an official Final Four ticket application, write to 1991 Final Four Tickets, 6201 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas, 66211-2422. This has been a message from the NCAA. Ron Franklin with you at halftime here in Denver with our score, UNLV 47 and Duke 35. And we're very pleased to bring to our network microphone here tonight the gentleman who is chairman of the basketball committee this year, Jim Delaney, also commissioner of the Big Ten Conference. And this has to be like Christmas morning to you to have gotten through Selection Sunday and in 64 teams. And, you know, I kidded Dick Schultz about that you guys were going to run out of scripts, but it doesn't seem that that's possible. Another great tournament.
It's been a great tournament. You know, we've had 62 games. This is the 63rd game. We had 30 games decided by less than 5 points. And it's just been a delight to be associated with it. I've totally enjoyed the last 3 weeks.
Jim, with the parity in college basketball, that selection committee, that Selection Sunday gets to be a tougher and tougher, very unenviable situation, isn't it?
Well, it's simply difficult to tell who's the 7th best team in the country from who's the 14th best team in the country. You know, we have a lot of opinion polls. We have a lot of computer-generated data. And it's especially difficult deciding who the 34th at-large team is and who the 35th is. So there's a lot of parity, but everyone has an opportunity to play their way in with the conference tournaments, with the exception of the Ivy League and the Big Ten. And we think it's a delicate balance between at-large and automatic bid. And it's a great format. It's produced great basketball over the last 5 or 6 years.
All right, explain something to us. There has been a little bit that has been written and also on the broadcast outlets about next year's tournament. Although there will be 64 teams, that some teams out of conferences might have to have a playoff situation before they go in as one of the 64?
Well, the tournament format is identical next year to this year. There will be 30 automatic qualifiers and 30 at-large, 34 at-large. The difference is this year there are only 30 conferences that are eligible to receive automatic bid. Next year there'll be 31 that are competing for those 30 slots. So before Selection Saturday, conferences which are ranked 31 and 30 will have an opportunity to play against each other to earn that 30th position.
You understand very well about a Final Four and playing for a national championship. You played, for the Tar Heels of North Carolina. You guys went up against a Marquette team and suffered a blow, which I'm sure that's a tough pill to swallow after making it that far, isn't it?
Well, I wasn't on that North Carolina team in 77 and played Marquette, but I was on the North Carolina team that lost to UCLA in 68, and then in the semifinals in 1969 against Purdue. So it is, it's a long season. You get an opportunity to compete for a championship, and it's nice to win, but not everybody can win, and you hope to just have an evening that you play your best basketball.
Eddie Fogler, the head basketball coach down at Vanderbilt. You guys were roommates in college, right?
Yes, we were. Eddie and I roomed together for 2 years, and we played 4 years together. And he was the starting guard, and when he got tired, I came in and gave him a little support.
You stay in close touch with him?
Yeah, Eddie and I are friends, and I was really happy to see his team do so well.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
In NIT, and he's done a great job wherever he's been. So he really represents his university well, and I'm very happy for him.
Jim Delaney, chairman of the basketball committee this year. Again, congratulations on what has been a fantastic tournament here in 1990.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure, along with the other guys on the committee, it's our privilege to work with a tournament of this magnitude.
Thanks for coming by. Continued success. Shortly, we'll have the start of the second half, but first, let's pause for these messages. This NCAA championship game is sponsored by Hyatt Hotels and Resorts, by Isuzu, by Right Guard Sports Stick, by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, by Doritos brand tortilla chips, by the Coca-Cola Company and your local Coca-Cola bottler, by CBS Sports, by BF Goodrich TA Tires, by American Express, and by American Airlines, the official airline for NCAA championships. Ron Franklin along with Quinn Buckner and Kaywood Ledford at halftime here at McNichols Arena in Denver, Colorado, at a 47-35 score as the clock winds down and we get set for the second half of play. And the Duke Blue Devils huddled up to our right, and I'm sure a very quick but yet intense meeting in the locker room with Coach K and his club.
Well, I just heard that Coach K for 6 minutes was on his team about let's be more aggressive. Let's take the challenge right here. We're down 12 points, and we've got to make up that deficit to get it done. Guys, step up to the challenge, and he was saying it with a little more than I can give it right here.
Family show. That's exactly right. Kaywood Ledford, your thoughts about the first half as the two teams come out?
Well, no team has ever been 12 down at halftime in the championship game, and that team come back to win it. So that's the challenge Duke faces here, down 47-35. And I thought it was a big basket that Anthony hit just ahead of the buzzer to give the Running Rebels that 12-point lead instead of 10.
Well, I thought it was too, Kaywood, because as I talked about prior to that, Duke had been so far out of the game, it was almost going to a 20-point game, and they had kind of got out of it. But the other thing that I think is important is that Las Vegas had 10 steals, so that means of the 14 turnovers that Duke has, those are 10 of those are steals, and you can move that the other way for fast break.
And Vegas, for the most part, is taking the lob away, one of Duke's favorite weapons. But Duke puts the ball in play as we start the second half. Hurley deals it off on the left side. It's taken by Bricky, out in backcourt to Henderson. Henderson going in on the lob. Leitner's got it, turns around, has a bad shot, doesn't go. He taps it up, no good. And coming off with it is Johnson for the Rebels. To Anthony. Long pass at the other end to Butler, no good. And he was fouled. Boy, they turned that pass loose.
Well, the big man can get out and run. Butler runs well, Augman runs well, and so does Johnson. And Hunter and Anderson just throw it up there because he knows that those other three kids can just go get it.
Leitner picks up his second foul, got him ahead of the shot. So Anthony will put it in play for Vegas from his own end of the court. He comes into Augman on the left side, almost in the corner. He dribbles it out toward the top of the circle. Goes low now, in there to Butler on the baseline. Whips it out, and here's Johnson for a three. Yes! The big man, Larry Johnson, drills a three.
Well, he's done that a lot. When he was in high school, he shot that shot all the time. So anybody that's ever watched him play knows that that's not an unusual shot for him to make.
50-35. He had looked for some earlier in the game, but found himself open. Bricky with it for Duke on the right wing. Gives it to Henderson. 12-footer, good. 10 points for Henderson.
Duke did, Nevada, Las Vegas did something that somewhat taunt or let the Duke Blue Devils know that they were ready to play. Duke hits the floor when they need a defensive stop. Everybody slaps the floor. At the beginning of the half, everybody from Nevada, Las Vegas came out and did just that, slapped the floor, as in mocking Duke.
Here is Hunt with it, long range for Nevada, Las Vegas. Augman on the right wing. Johnson in three-point range. Leitner's got him this time. Butler takes it. He gives down low to Johnson, who pumps, goes up for his jumper. It's short. Abdel Nabi comes off with a rebound. Here's Hurley in a hurry. Down into the paint. Throws a pass to Henderson. He was lucky to save it. Dribbles it out. Miss. It goes in. Looked like it was rolling off and drops in.
You were absolutely right, because Hurley didn't have the pass there with anything on it. And somehow Henderson came up with it and a bucket.
50-39. Nevada, Las Vegas leading. Hunt with the ball. Henderson with him man-to-man. Hunt drives, can't get through, brings it back out, gives to Augman in backcourt. Right wing to Anthony. Hurley guarding him. Anthony floating it in to Butler, gets it in, and he lays it in. And that is the first point as Butler gets his first two. 52-39, wide open for that one. Henderson takes a pass over the line from Hurley. Works to the right side. Going one-on-one, can't get away. Abdel Nabi, 10-footer, no good. Leitner comes off the board with it. Butler, I think, was pushing him.
Well, I'm looking at Phil Henderson, and he was doing pretty well for a minute, but what he wants to really do is try to get his offensive game going, because he's a senior. He knows this is his last shot, and he knows if anybody can make it happen, he can. He's a good offensive player, but he came out and started real quickly. Had to get himself a little bit of blow right here, though.
Because Brian Davis has just replaced him. Hurley from his own end of the court into Leitner. 12-footer, good. 7 points for Leitner. And it's 52-41. Long pass and going for the basket. Layup. Good by Hunt.
I mean,
took it on a dead run and went all the way to the hoop with it.
On a dead run, and Christian Leitner tried to take the charge instead of getting over, maybe trying to get the block.
54-41, Nevada, Las Vegas. Hurley penetrates, but he's in the double team. Puts it off anyway, and Davis puts it up and in, dances it into the basket.
But they're starting to be more aggressive at the basket, Kaywood, out of Blue Devils.
54-43. Ogden with it long range. Here's Johnson for another three. Yes.
Oh, big fella turned around before that one was down.
Larry Johnson has hit 2 back-to-back threes, and he has 16 points. The leading scorer in the game right now. Duke with it, down 57-43. Rickey trying to drive. Altman turns it. Leitner, 17-footer straight away, good. But Christian Leitner beginning to find the range. Down quickly comes Anthony in a hurry. Hurley with him, right side to Hunt. Hunt looks under, nobody there, gives to Johnson. This time he fakes and drives, deals it off to Butler. He fakes, puts it up, no good. Abdelnaby comes off with a rebound for Duke. Hurley runs it down, but it's 2 on 3. Hurley still moving, passes off, and it's knocked out of bounds by Augman. It was a 2 on 3 situation, though, and just didn't develop.
Well, Stacey Augman happened to be one of those two getting back. He's got long arms, good range. Knew that Bobby Hurley was going to pass the ball. Got it there, not just a little bit late. Got it knocked out off him.
Abdelnaby and Leitner both coming out of the game as they get a small lineup in there. Hill and Kubek check in for Duke. So Duke has a very small lineup in there right now. The inbound pass finally comes in. He had trouble getting it in, but it comes in there to Hill. Hill swings it out at long range, gives to Hurley. Hurley and Henderson, the only 2 starters. Henderson goes up for a shot, and Anthony got him. He wanted a jump ball, but they said, nope, that's number 2, Greg. So Henderson will step to the line. Henderson has not had a free throw in this game.
Well, that's what we were talking about at the first half. That's when you got to start taking it to the basket, draw some fouls, get people in foul trouble, but you also get to score without any time going off the clock.
Clock arrested with 16 minutes, 24 seconds to play. Phil Henderson's line for Duke for 2. First shot on its way. Good.
Kept the smaller lineup in because I know that Mike Krzyzewski's got to try to think, how can he get some turnovers so you can get some easy baskets and be able to control the tempo on the defensive end by being able to stay up with some of the quickness that Nevada, Las Vegas has on the floor.
He's tried everything in the coaching book so far, and this is still another maneuver. Henderson hits again. And it's 57-47. Duke has it down to 10, but Anthony runs by Hurley. Hurley catches up. Anthony still dribbling. Swings it out in backcourt, gives to Augman. Augman has not put down his dribble, holding the ball, left side to Hunt. Hunt fakes, drives to the baseline, 12-footer. Bullseye, got it.
And playing with a great deal of confidence. I mean, he took that shot right over Phil Henderson and never even thought about it.
59-47. Nevada, Las Vegas. Henderson for a 3. No good. Battle for the rebound, and Scurry gets to it. The ball was batted away from him out of bounds. It'll be Las Vegas in possession. We got a timeout. 15 minutes, 56 seconds to play. The big guys are checking back in for Duke. 15:56 to play. Nevada, Las Vegas 59. Duke 47. Let's pause for these messages. Moses Scurry is in for Nevada, Las Vegas. Is in for Butler. Vegas with the ball. Anthony has it in backcourt. Augman comes out to take it. He's dribbled. Johnson in backcourt. Leitner tied on him now. They've earned his respect, but he drives by Leitner, puts up a jumper, good.
And that is exactly why Larry Johnson is such a great player. He's made 2 3-pointers. Leitner came out, and he went right around him for the little bank shot.
And a little 8-footer using the glass. 61-47. Nevada, Las Vegas. Hurley at very long range. And Vegas goes to its 1-1-3. Down underneath, they have Leitner open, but he won't count. The whistle was ahead of the shot. He broke wide open. But Vegas had fouled ahead of the shot.
That's one of the few times that you've seen Duke be able to get the ball into the middle of the court. And Abdelnaby just did a little touch pass down to the baseline to Langdon.
That's the 3rd foul on Stacey Augman. Both he and Larry Johnson with 3. The inbound pass to Henderson. 3-pointer, no good to the left corner. Abdelnaby came down with a rebound, but he was stripped by Augman, who runs it over on the dribble. Throws it all the way cross court. Hunt for a 3. Bullseye.
I'm telling you, he's playing with real confidence. That last jump shot showed me that. He got over there and everybody in his face. And in that three-pointer he shot, it was real easy to look into him.
Biggest lead of the game, and Vegas owns it, 64-47. Here's that 1-1-3 zone again. And they try to go inside, and it's knocked down, picked off, and Vegas running the other way. It's 3-on-1. Layup good. Put up and in by Hunt. Hurley was the only guy back, and Mike Krzyzewski, with his team now down by 19, signals for a timeout. 14:49 to play. Nevada, Las Vegas 66, Duke 47. We'll be back in just a moment. And Vegas has the biggest lead of the game on the board right now. 19-66-47. Duke will move it the length of the court. Ricky gives it into Hurley. Here's the 1-1-3 zone again by Vegas. And it's picked off a cross-court pass. And it's 4-on-1. Hurley back alone. Hunt lays it in.
They throw a cross-court pass that time like Phil Henderson did. Stacey Ogden with those long arms just popped out of nowhere for the steal.
68-47. Down on the baseline. Leitner is open. Missed the shot. Right underneath. They're running the other way. It's 2-on-2. Doesn't matter. Stuffs it with both hands.
They got to stop to get a timeout.
Mike Krzyzewski is team down by 23. It's a 13-0 run. Says we want another timeout. So, with 14 minutes and 19 seconds to play, we are approaching a rout. Nevada, Las Vegas 70, Duke 47, and let's pause for these messages.
14-19 left in the ball game. UNLV 70, Duke 47, the largest winning margin ever in the NCAA final. 23 points by UCLA over North Carolina. That was in 1968.
Coach Krzyzewski has gone back to his small lineup.
He's trying to find a group that's going to go out and play hard, because I don't think he's pleased with the effort he's been able to get on the other side. The guys have been very tentative.
Hurley working against this zone, which has really given the problems. Kubek misses with a jump shot off the baseline, slapped out of bounds. It'll be Duke's ball from its own end of the court. 14:08 to play. Nevada, Las Vegas leading by 23, 70-47.
And the other thing that the Blue Devils have to do is they've got to get back in defensive transition. Las Vegas is just running up and down the court.
Kubik double team gets it in backcourt to Hill. Vegas has got all zone here lately, and it really has worked. Here's Davis open, doesn't take the shot. He drives into the heavy traffic, and they take it away from him. Running it, 4-on-1. And here is Johnson. Puts it up and in. He didn't stuff it. He just laid it up on the glass.
But you were right. It was a 4-on-1. Two of the Duke players fell down, and they just can't get back. This is starting to be a track meet, and Vegas will win that.
72-47. 25-point lead. Here's Hurley with it. Hurley driving, does penetrate, deals it off, but Ricky trying to put it up. Draws a foul from Stacey Augmon, and that's his fourth. Leitner is going to check back in. McCaffrey going in for Duke. Jerry Tarkanian counters with Young checking into the lineup for the Rebels. And we get Cianovich checking in. Anthony takes a rest. Duke from its own end of the court. Down by 25. And Hurley looking, throws it into Kubik and almost threw it out of bounds. McCaffrey outside. Hurley takes it. He penetrates, puts up a jumper, no good. Rebounded by Johnson for UNLV. He gives it to Cianovich. He throws a long pass. Hunt open in the right corner for three. Yes.
They're just shooting everything. That's a three-pointer. That's 8 shots in a row they've made. That's 11 out of their last 12. They got an 18-0 run here.
And Leitner trying to drive in, draws a foul. 18-0. Right in this stretch, Vegas outscoring Duke.
But that
foul is on Anthony, his third.
That's vintage Las Vegas. That's what they'll do to you. I mean, they don't normally get 18-point runs, but they usually get substantial runs. Normally 10-4, 12-6, things of that nature. But this one's 18-0. Huge.
Duke puts the ball in play. McCaffrey goes inside to Leitner, comes across the lane, puts it up, no good, but he's fouled. He made a nice move and had an open shot. He was fouled on the left side, but he missed a right-hand layup. Butler got him. That's his third. Still 13:04 to go.
Well, the one player that is now sitting on the bench, and we'd have to say has been shut out, is Robert Brickey. He's been playing a great game, a great tournament, actually, and Stacey Augmon came out. We were wondering who they were going to match Augmon on. They put him on Brickey. Brickey usually gives them that exciting move, that big dunk, or the athletic play, the steal. He hadn't been able to do that, and due to a great part of Stacey Augmon being on him.
Leighton throws a perfect strike from the free throw line for his 10th point. He has another shot coming. It had been a long dry spell until Duke gets a charity toss from Kristen Leitner. Leitner back at the line. Shot on the way. It's there. But it's 75-49 UNLV as Cianovich races over the line. Hurley in pursuit. Cianovich puts on the brakes, comes back outside, gives it to Young. Down the left side to Hunt. They go inside to Johnson. Back out to Hunt. A three is in the air. It is no good. And McCaffrey comes off the board with it, dribbles it out of there, and throws a bad pass. And Hurley manages to save, and then dribbles on up into Duke's end of the court. Spins away from Cianovich. Hurley gives it out to McCaffrey. He puts up a jumper. No good. He was right on the three-point line, so it had been a two. And here, going for the basket, shot no good. Leitner's got it for Duke, lays it in. Davis is missing.
Well, that's how he's got to play. Leitner's got to get in there and rough and tough, battle those big bodies of Nevada, Las Vegas. But you see the front line is taking over in terms of the rebounding.
He is the only big guy in there for Duke, but here's a foul on Hurley, and he slaps the floor. He better be a little careful. Reaching in on Cianovich. Hurley picks up his third. That's only Duke's second foul he's had. Moses Scurry reports into the lineup. And Larry Johnson's going to take a break. He has 20 points. 24 points for Hunt. He and Hunt are putting on a scoring show.
Yeah, they have.
Young with it just back of the keyhole for the modern Las Vegas. Hunt with it. Butler. Butler going low, and Scurry puts it in.
Butler makes a good pass, but you got a mismatch. Quebec can't guard Moses Scurry down there. A little lob, good touch pass inside.
77-51. Here's McCaffrey hitting a jump shot. Dribble to the free throw stripe and drills it. McCaffrey, first field goal. Down at the other end, there's a shot is partially deflected, but there's also a foul going to be called on Leitner.
And that's Leitner. That's his fourth foul as well.
Abdelnaby, Bricky, Henderson all checking in for Duke. We're getting Travis Bice into the game from Nevada, Las Vegas. In there for the Blue Devils now, let's see. We have Henderson, Bricky, McCaffrey, Abdelnaby. On the line is Butler. Has two. First one, perfect.
Butler with those long arms and long legs gets sprawled out, but he starts down the court. And the one thing that the Las Vegas guards do real well is they look up court and they find Butler when he gets there.
He cans a pair of free throws. His fourth point to make it 79-53.
Duke's got a pretty good offensive team in now, but they've got to find a way to start penetrating the teeth of the defense and then getting some assists.
Henderson playing the point. Gives to McCaffrey and backcourt with him down the left side. It goes to Davis. Out to McCaffrey. He gives in the left corner to Bricky. Bricky cross courts to Henderson. Henderson puts up a shot. It's a two if it goes. Doesn't go. They're not backing it. They're right on the line. The last couple of shots. They need another 6 inches back, and at least it's a three if it goes.
They're struggling so badly just to get any kind of offense, K-Wood. I don't think they'd take a chance to try to back up.
Lob inside to Butler. Three people converge on him and foul him. I think Abdelnaby got him. That is his third. Stops the clock with 11 minutes and 10 seconds still to play. Abdelnaby's second. Beg your pardon. That is Duke's fourth foul. So it put in play to Butler on the inbounds play. He gives to Young. Young drives into the lane, and he wanted to deal it off to Scurry. And he threw it a little wide.
And they called him for an offensive foul.
I think they're going to call him for charging. Yeah. He kind of got out of control there in the paint. Young picks up his first.
Young's normally a scorer. That time he took the ball into the paint. But because they're giving him, they're in the penalty.
Yes, and the ruling had to be there, Quinn, that he had dished off his pass before he ran over Bricky. So Bricky will go to the line 1-1. Missed his only free throw back in the first half. He only has 4 points in the game.
But as important as that is, K-Wood, the fact that he's just not been able to get into the flow of the game.
He misses this one. And rebounded by Vegas. In a big hurry comes Anthony. Abdelnaby challenged him. put up no good, almost went in anyway. Abdelnabi comes off the board with it for Duke, gives to Henderson. Runs it down the right side, puts on the brakes as he's checked defensively. Now he wants to go again, can't get away. Passes on the right wing, takes it back. Going over on the left wing to McCaffrey, down on the baseline to Bricky, out in backcourt. It's picked off by Anthony. Anthony going down. Henderson tries to come in behind and block the shot, but he got it. Anthony had the step on him. Bill Henderson picks up his first foul.
Duke can't seem to get anything going right. I mean, the one person you think that would have it going would be Phil Henderson, given it's his last game, but that was just a tough play. But actually, I have to give Anthony a little bit of credit, because I didn't think he was going to be able to get to the pass at the top of the key, but he shows quickness and good hands.
Hurley checks back in for Duke. Larry Johnson's coming back in for Vegas. Greg Anthony will be on the free throw line for the first time in the game. 10:35 to go. Anthony got it. There's another shot coming. Fouled on his shot. Two-shot foul. 80-53 in all Nevada, Las Vegas. Missed at the stripe. Rebounded by Duke. Hurley bringing it down, taking the pass from Hill. Gives to Henderson on the right wing. He tries to drive, can't go. Deals it out to Hurley. Hurley ball fakes, dribbles, and passes off to Hill. Out to Hurley. He penetrates again, tries to whip it inside, and it's deflected, but Hurley goes, gets a hand on it, and keeps the ball alive, and Henderson runs it down. Hill takes it in backcourt.
Can't get anything going. I mean, it's Nevada, Las Vegas. I'm telling you, they're playing some kind of defense. They're in this zone, and they're covering all of this court.
All right, here's a jump shot baseline, no good. By Davis, rebounded by Henderson. He's double teamed and stripped of the ball. Now it's knocked loose again, but Johnson digs it out for Vegas. And here goes Butler on the run. His pass is deflected. Johnson picks it up, and it's called for step.
Oh, that's a big call, too.
Oh, boy.
You're looking at an offensive foul, and then Larry Johnson's got 4 fouls.
Yeah, he really had a lot of contact there, so that was a...
Two officials, one had an offensive foul, and then another official made a traveling call before that. That's a big play for Duke.
Hill with it, right wing. They go into Abdelnabi. He moves in and lays it in, and that's his first basket of the second half. 14 points for the game, 80-55. Nevada, Las Vegas, 9:38 to play. This is for the national championship. Anthony trying to go one-on-one with Hurley. Picks up his dribble, but it was a 5-second count. And Anthony really loses his cool, and he better be careful.
He's screaming at his players, basically saying, come out and help me. I mean, they called the play, and when he called it, he expect Barry Young to get open, and Young didn't do it, and he's letting Young know about that.
When a lot of times we see a guy kind of die with it out there, and oftentimes it's not his fault. His teammates not coming to the rescue.
It is usually his teammates that hadn't come to the rescue.
Hill with a jumper, no good at the other end. Slapped into the air by Vegas, but chasing it down is Davis for Duke. Gets it to Hurley. Hurley trying to get it into Abdelnabi. It's a little too much mustard on it and a little wide. He gets one hand on it, but it skips out of bounds and over to Vegas.
There's no way he could have handled that pass. That was a bullet pass, and it was straight down, and Abdelnabi just couldn't get a hand on it.
I imagine his hand is stinging from that one. It was a very, very hard pass. Anthony with it. On the right side to Hunt. Hunt with Henderson guarding him. Dribbles out. Gives to Young. They go low to Johnson. Turnaround jumper. No good. Takes his own rebound. Hooks it in with his right hand.
Well, I'm telling you, he's just some kind of man. But I'm watching this Las Vegas team, and this team is night and day better than they were at the beginning of the season when New Mexico State beat them. They're more aggressive defensively. They have many more weapons to play with on the offensive end.
Here's Henderson with a jump shot. Good for Duke. Also, Quinn, I think when a team sprints to a quick early lead, the confidence just soars.
I think it does. I think the confidence soars. They call a foul on Abdelnabi with a good move by with Scurry. But that's what I was talking about. The team that can get out and get into their game and their rhythm first usually has the best chance of winning in a game like this, because it's a matter of getting your confidence. And Vegas got out going to their stuff. They were pushing it up the court, playing good defense, and they haven't been stopped yet.
Abdelnabi leaves the lineup. That's his third foul. Scurry is at the free throw line for the first time. He has 4 points coming off the bench. He'll get 2. First one on its way. Beauty. Just net. 83-57.
We have to remember, there were a lot of people in the country and sports writers who thought that the Nevada Las Vegas team was the #1 team in the country. And Jerry Tarkanian won't say it, but I guarantee you at the end of this game, he'll tell you this is the best team he's ever had.
Miss on the second shot. Duke's got it. Hurley with it. Penetrates in. Deals it back out to Henderson. A three's in the air. Doesn't go. Rebounded by Johnson for Vegas. Out to Anthony. Anthony cross courts it. Hunt's going to try a three, right wing. Bullseye.
I mean, this second time, the officials got to stop the game, get the net down.
And this is the longest lead that Vegas has had. 29 points, 86-57. Duke with the ball, working against the zone. Down on the baseline, Leitner gets it, misses it. He tried a two-hand stuff and missed the shot. When it goes badly, it gets worse.
Yeah, it really does. That epitomizes what's been going with Duke all day. They can't get a shot down, can't get a hit on the ball. But a lot of that is good defense by Vegas.
But Leitner just flat missed that one.
Yeah, but he hadn't seen the basket like that in so many times. He was a little bit surprised.
Couldn't believe he was open for a two-hand dunk.
Right.
Anthony circling around. Looks like Vegas has decided to let a little air out of the ball here. Tark the Shark was up, gave him a signal, and they're just running around now. They're not even looking for a shot. We got 10 seconds to score a shot clock. Back over the line. They got a little too fancy. Took a little too much. That's not their game. That's the running Rebels. Just wanted to kill off some clock. They did that, but lost possession without a shot, so Duke gets it in midcourt. Cialovich checking in. Butler coming in for Vegas. Anthony's going to take a rest, and Scurry goes to the bench. Coach Mike Krzyzewski still trying to fire his team up.
He wants his team to compete. He's got some underclassmen out on the court now, and he wants to make sure that they don't quit regardless of the situation, so he'll continue to coach all game.
Here's McCaffrey. Moves in a little dribble and misses with a jump shot. Tapped up. I don't know who they'll give that to, Leitner or Kubik. I thought they both had it.
They gave it to Kubik.
Kubik, okay. His first basket. It's 86-59. Vegas with it. And running a little bit of a delay game again. Augman's got it. And high on the right side. Gives to Hunt. Hunt cross court. Down in the left corner goes to Augman. Augman dribbles out toward backcourt with it. Hunt comes out and takes a little handoff.
He'll try to take McCaffrey because Hunt doesn't think he can guard him.
You're right. He drives on him, puts it up, and it dances in off the rim.
See, they don't think either McCaffrey or Hurley can guard Hunter Anderson, so they'll just take it right at him.
29 points for Anderson Hunt, 88-59. Long pass, high pass to Leitner. He went up, got one hand on it, couldn't bring it down. It goes out of bounds and over to Vegas as we get Henderson into the lineup for Bobby Hurley. It's been a frustrating night for this young freshman who's going to be one of the really good point guards in college basketball. He's been overmatched in this game.
You're right. He'll have a good experience to relate to because he just will realize he just played against two stronger team guards, and he just didn't have the strength to compete with them this game.
Larry Johnson comes into backcourt, takes the pass, gives it to Hunt. Hunt wanted to go to the basket, but Switch picked him up, and he brings it out, and Augman comes out to take the pass at long range. Cianovich with it. Down the left side is Larry Johnson. Johnson dribbles into backcourt, gives to Hunt, or rather to Augman, right side to Cianovich. Here's Larry Johnson, fakes, drives in, 17-footer, no good. Put up and in on the rebound by Augman. 90-59. Biggest lead of the game for Vegas, and they intercept at the other end.
They almost, it looks as though they're toying with them now. They get anything they want, anytime they want to, does Las Vegas.
One of the rare blowouts that you see in a championship game in the NCAA. They've been so close.
Yeah, they have been close, but I want to tell you, Las Vegas is very, very good.
They have been awesome in this game. Here's Cianovich for a three. Everybody's getting into the act.
Now, Cianovich can go home and say, I got me a three in the national championship game.
34-point lead for Nevada, Las Vegas, and we've got a timeout with 5 minutes and 3 seconds to play. With the score, Nevada, Las Vegas 93, Duke 59. Let's pause for these messages.
Came with the most points ever scored in an NCAA championship game. 98 by UCLA. It was against Duke. 98-83. That was 1964.
Johnny Wooden's first national championship. All right, Duke sweeps up court. Vegas has got some new players in, or different players. A three, no good. Missed by Henderson. Pulled down by Leitner as he tries to put it back up. He is fouled. Foul is on Augman. I have him with 5. Check me there, Quinn.
Yeah, I think he did that. It should be his 5th foul.
They just announced that's 5, and Barry Young will go in to take his place. Augman comes out with 12 points.
You know, here's a kid that's taken defense to the next level. He reminds me of Bobby Wilkerson, the 6'7" forward guard that I played with at Indiana. Augman has great range, and they like to get out in the open court, take advantage of their defensive abilities and ability to run. And today he shut down Robert Brickey, and he's got 12 points to boot. I'd say he had himself a pretty good day.
He did indeed, and he's had a great run in the tournament. Had a tremendous reputation, Quinn, as a defensive player. But coming into this game, in tournament play, he was averaging around 19 a game.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Las Vegas started taking advantage of him running up and down the court, and he was getting some key steals to get him some baskets as well.
Leitner drops in both free throws to make it 93-61. Now Duke is trying a full court press. Anthony, though, has it in backcourt, and Duke falls back. Man-to-man. Left corner, it goes to Bice. Bice dribbles back out in backcourt. Gives it to Young. To Bice. Bice circles left, goes down to the baseline, just loses control of his dribble, out of bounds, goes over to Duke.
He got excited. I'm telling you, Kate, when he got excited, saw the basket and just dribbled it off his leg. He wants to get a basket.
Here's McCaffrey into Leitner. Leitner, the triple team, gets it out to Henderson. He puts a 3 up. Got it. That's his first 3. 93-64. 4:12 to go. Young is open for a 3. Leitner very late to come out to get him, but he didn't want it. I think they're here from the bench. Take some time.
Yeah, they'll use it up. Travis Bice will get up a shot, though. I know he wants to get him some points.
All right, it goes in there to Jones, who puts it up and in. James Jones gets his first basket.
It's another 6'8" body that Las Vegas will be bringing off the bench next year.
He's a senior, I believe. So here's a blocked shot. Kubek tried to put it up. Vegas has got it. Anthony dribbles it down over the timeline. He and Johnson are the only 2 starters in there. Long one by Bice. No good. Boy, he turned that one loose from downtown. Johnson's got the rebound.
Oh no.
Put in by James Jones.
Played one-hand ping pong with it did by himself, did Larry Johnson. And on the 3rd time he got it, just threw it right out to Jones with that one hand.
And Ron Franklin pointed out 98 points is the record in a championship game. Vegas has 97. Here's Henderson. It's a 2. One more point. And Las Vegas will tie the record for most points in the championship game. 3:03 to go. Here's Anthony. Still running the show offensively. Gives to Young. Young gives it out deep to Larry Johnson, who's going to play guard for a while. They've just got a delay game on. There's nobody actually down in the lane or near the lane. And here goes Anthony driving to the baseline. As he tries to put up a shot, he is fouled in there. I think Henderson got it.
Yeah, Henderson got him, but he also was nice enough to hold him because it was easy to have hurt Anthony on that play, but Henderson held up.
That's the second foul on Henderson. It'll put Anthony on the line where he is 1 out of 2.
And the Tarkanian is down celebrating with Moses, with David Butler and Moses Scurry. They're hugging.
Jeter is checked in for the first time of the game, a 6'8" junior. Anthony on the line. He is the only starter in there right now for Vegas. Clay Buckley will be checking in for Duke. He is a 6'10" junior, goes in for Leitner. So both coaches are putting in the shock troops now, so it looks like they're calling in the dogs and this hunt's over.
Oh, yeah, this one's been over for some time, as you well know. But the thing that has really happened that helped Nevada, Las Vegas, you don't like to see anybody have people put off the team or suspended. But when that happens,
Anthony could set a new record here. He does as he hits his second free throw, and it's 99. Most points ever scored by a team in the championship game. Nevada, Las Vegas has done. May not be through yet. Duke will move the ball the length of the court. And we've got to get a station break in. But let's see if we can get a little break in the action before we jump on that one. Long pass up. Henderson, the starter, puts up a three. No good. Rebounded by Nevada, Las Vegas as Jones bounces out to Cianovich. Long pass up to Bice in the right corner. Back out to Bice. He drops the ball, but comes up with it. They dribbled again. That's double dribbled. Yep, can't do that. And let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the NCAA CBS Radio Network.
The Quad Cities Major League Sports Station, WOC Davenport.
Dave Rice checks in, and Nevada, Las Vegas now. 12 people have seen action. Duke has played 10. Hurley, a starter, gives it to Cook, who's come in, so make that 11. Hurley for a long three, no good. Rebounded by Vegas. Cianovich running down the middle. 2:12 to go. Gives it off to Rice. He lets it fly for three, no good. An attempted follow-up is not even close. And here comes Duke running the other way, but it's 2-on-2. Cook drives for the basket, puts it in. Underhanded layup by Joe Cook.
But the thing I was going to say about Las Vegas, they've had so many players that have been in and out for various reasons that what happened to them is it made the team deeper because now you got players who normally don't get a chance to play, but when your guys get sick and just not able to come and play in games, some new people get some experience, and that's really helped Las Vegas, and that's why their depth, I thought, was just too much for Duke to handle.
Jones missing the jump shot. Loose ball out of bounds, touch last by Cianovich. He couldn't quite get the handle on it. Goes to Duke with 1:35 to play. Very solemn crowd now because it has long since taps have been played over the Blue Devils.
Taps. Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. I think Nevada, Las Vegas would have beat anybody tonight.
They've just been awesome. They just have been awesome. And Coach Krzyzewski is giving his young players some experience. Here's a pass from Buckley, but it was too tall. Hurley got a hand on it, but had to chase it back across the line. It'll go over to Vegas with 1:20 to go. Nobody, Nevada, Las Vegas favored coming in, but I don't think anyone predicted this kind of a one-sided game. Cianovich takes the inbounds pass. Hurley with him defensively. Cianovich puts down a dribble, moves in, passes down on the baseline to Jones. He puts it up and in. Boy, that thing hit way up on the board and dropped through.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours.
James Jones, a senior out of Cincinnati, has 6 points. He'll have something to remember. Down inside, no good. A foul on Nevada, Las Vegas. 101-68. Most points ever scored in a championship game. And the Running Rebels, it'll be their first title, first championship ever, but it's come in a big-time fashion here in Denver, Colorado, the Mile High City.
I think Vegas showed the kind of team that they can be because they've come out here and played this Duke team, and as we just stated, they've beaten them rather handily, but they did the same thing to Loyola Marymount, who was a team that I didn't think, and I think most people didn't think could be run with, and Nevada, Las Vegas just ran those guys right off the court. They've proven they can play any kind of way that needs to get it done.
Crawford Palmer puts the first one in, puts in the second. He has just checked in, a sophomore. And it's 101-70. And here is Hurley reaching in, but Cianovich's fall-away jumper, no good. Rebounded by Palmer. He gets it out of there. Duke running it down. 44 seconds. Intercepted by Bice. Throws long at the other end. And here is Jones with a jumper. He's got it. James Jones with 8 points. This senior Cincinnati Little U's. 103-70. Driving to the ball is Davis. He lays it up underhanded. Offensive goaltending. So Brian Davis gets his 6th point. 26 seconds to go. Long pass the other end to Bice. He had a three-pointer, but he dribbled in. They picked him up. Here goes a three. No good. Rebounded by Duke. Running it down is Cook. 14 seconds. Goes down inside to Palmer. Palmer goes for the basket, tries to put it up, and he's fouled, stopping the clock with 10 seconds to play.
Well, Jerry Tarkanian should be proud of his team, but I tell you what, Mike Krzyzewski and his players don't have anything to hang their head to today because, as I said, Nevada, Las Vegas would have beaten most teams. There are not many people at the beginning of the season I thought that that Duke would be here. Most people thought that Vegas would be here and thought that they would do this well, but they've overcome some very difficult times to do that, and for that, they should be given due credit.
Palmer draws a pair of free throws. He's 2 for 2. This one's no good. 10 seconds to play. Nevada, Las Vegas just counting the seconds off the clock to a national championship. Palmer fires. It's there for Duke. 103-73. Long pass. And here is Jeter. Jeter dribbles to the top of the key, loses the ball. 2 seconds. 1 second. It's a shot at the buzzer. No good. The game is over. Nevada, Las Vegas wins the first championship in its history, the NCAA crown. And the Duke Blue Devils once again denied the glass slipper. Nevada, Las Vegas 103, Duke 73. And the Runnin' Rebels celebrate and whoop it up here in the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado, with a 103-73 blowout over the Blue Devils of Duke. That's the end of the game.